Our top story tonight, the Tennessee Titans. They're a team that's kind of on the brink. They're a team that very well could be back in playoff contention this coming season, or they could go full on rebuild, which is so interesting. Because remember, the Tennessee Titans were the number one seed in the AFC just 1 year ago. And of course, they were eliminated from the playoffs pretty early. They shouldn't have been the number one seed. It was a weird year in the AFC, but that doesn't mean the Titans didn't end up as the first seed. And so now, where do they go from here? Because Ryan Tannehill, they can save $17.8 million by moving on from him, or they could make some other moves and run it back with Tannehill, with Derrick Henry, and try to continue to invest in this offensive line, get it back to the days of glory of years past. How are they going to do it? We've got the answer on Player Profiler Today. And so first and foremost, the Titans right now, and right now means Friday, February 10th, because of course this is a pre-record. I do not know what has happened the past couple of days. Maybe the Titans have already released Tannehill, but more than likely, they still stand at minus $21.4 million. That is not good. That is fifth worst in the NFL, second worst in the AFC. And obviously, the biggest way to save money for the Titans is by cutting Ryan Tannehill. They can save $17.8 million by moving on from their starting quarterback. If they do it pre-June 1st, if they do it post-June 1st, that is $27 million that the Titans will save. But Mike Vrabel softly committed to Ryan Tannehill the other day. They've hired a new offensive coordinator who was the passing game coordinator from the last year, former OC with, I actually don't remember who was the offensive coordinator of. Was it the Texans? I think it was the Texans. He was the Texans offensive coordinator. And Tannehill was happy about this move, but Mike Vrabel says they're still evaluating. They haven't decided yet. And so, given the fact that Mike Vrabel doesn't seem like the type to just full-on rebuild, they'll deal with the dead cap that they have right now. They'll figure it out, but Mike Vrabel doesn't seem like the kind of guy to just punt a year. No, maybe they do. They got a new general manager, but I don't think that transition, that new hire, was done because they want to restart. They realize that this team should be better than it is, and so we need someone to take us to the top, personnel-wise. So they hire Rand Carthon, new general manager. And so how do they do that? How do they keep it going? Because if they get rid of Ryan Tannehill, they will almost certainly be downgrading at quarterback unless they somehow pull off the miracle of getting Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers, he is building a house in Tennessee. So that is an outside option, but still an option. But really, unless they get Aaron Rodgers, who is going to upgrade over Ryan Tannehill? Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy G, those are the kind of options we're looking at in free agency. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, no. So I understand if the Titans do stick with Ryan Tannehill, and they can clear up some money pretty easily. Taylor Lewan, the left tackle, he has already said that any day now, he expects the Tennessee Titans to release him. He is expecting to no longer be a part of that team heading to free agency, and he's not even sure if he's going to continue to play. Taylor Lewan very well could retire, end his career at age 31. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years over his NFL career. Had a very solid run as the left tackle of the Tennessee Titans. First round pick, made a lot of money. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him call it. He's got a very successful podcast, and I wish Taylor Lewan all the best in his future endeavors if and when he is cut by the Titans and if and when he does retire. But that will save $14 million with no dead money. And then Robert Woods. Robert Woods, $12 million can be saved by moving on from Robert Woods. Just a slam dunk move. It's unfortunate because Robert Woods, he was such a dynamic, such an electric, such an underrated player for so many years. But time has caught up with him. He's not the same anymore. Robert Woods, Not worth the $12 million that you can save by cutting him. Only $2.5 million in dead money as well. So Taylor Lewan, he's cut. Robert Woods, he's cut. That's $26 million in cap space already saved. We are already back in the green. We've gone from minus $21.4 million to positive $5 million. And then there's another must cut for the Tennessee Titans. And this is unfortunate. I don't take joy in any of these cuts, just so you know. It's just things that business wise, I realize are going to happen, have to happen. But Zach Cunningham, linebacker for the Tennessee Titans, only played in 6 games, $8.9 million. That's his cap hit for the year, only 4.5 if they cut him. So Zach Cunningham did not play enough to command that $8.9 million cap hit. And they've got other options at linebacker to potentially replace him, especially their top linebacker, David Long. He's a free agent, so they kind of want to spend some money to bring him back. I just don't see the Titans paying that much money for a linebacker because linebacker, let's be honest, it's being devalued in today's NFL. So they're all going to be cut, and that will put the Titans back in the green pretty heavily. That will put them at about $13 million in cap space from minus 21. That's pretty good. And then there's some other options that they can do. They could cut Bud Dupree, $9.3 million saved, but $10.8 million in dead cap. Plus, he's your top edge rusher, so I don't really see that. Danico Autry, save $7 million if they cut him. But again, with Harold Landry coming off the torn ACL, we don't know how he'll be. Danico Autry, he is a vital part of this Titans defensive line. But what they could do is extend him. They could extend Danico Autry, save $4.4 million. So that seems more likely. Or they could extend Jeffrey Simmons, which they need to, let's be honest. If they're re-signing Jeffrey Simmons. He is the heart and soul of that defense. He has turned them into bullies up front. He is Jeffrey Simmons, large part of why the Titans beat the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs a couple years ago. This is the heart of the defense. So Jeffrey Simmons, he's going to get extended. That can save up to $7 million. So the Titans, they could end up having close to $20 million in cap space. Not quite, but they'll get in that ballpark. But they've got a lot of decisions to make. They still have to decide, will they rebuild? Will they not? If they do the plan that I've listed out and keep Ryan Tannehill, it's clear they are not rebuilding. They are continuing to truck along. They're going to try and win a Super Bowl, win a playoff game, go to the playoffs, win the AFC South. All these things while Derrick Henry is still there. And I can't blame him for it, especially when Malik Willis underperformed the way he did. Just broke my heart. Expected so much more from Malik Willis. So I think the Titans are going to go back at it. They have a first round pick, 11th overall this year, the highest they've picked in quite some time. They have a second round pick, 41st overall. Then they've got their 3rd, their 5th, their 6th, and their 7th. The only pick they're missing is that 4th rounder. And that was part of the disastrous Julio Jones trade. Remember, it was a 2nd and a 4th round pick for Julio, and it did not work out. So this team, they're going to be back in it. Ryan Tannehill is going to stay a Tennessee Titan. And if he's not a Tennessee Titan, and if Aaron Rodgers isn't a Tennessee Titan, then this team is rebuilding. These are the two avenues that the Titans can go down to start this offseason. It all comes down to who the quarterback is. If it's Ryan Tannehill or if it's Aaron Rodgers, this is a team that is still in. They still believe that they contend for the playoffs. But if they move on from Tannehill and they don't have a replacement, then this is a full-on rebuild. And what does this team need? Quarterback, question mark. They could be set with Ryan Tannehill, or they could need someone. At running back, they need a replacement for Dontrell Hilliard. Could be Julius Chestnut. It's not Hassan Haskins. So they need that 3rd down running back. At wide receiver, both Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akine are free agents. Well, Robert Woods, once they cut him, Nick Westbrook-Akine is a free agent. So they need to bring in a 3rd wide receiver. Treylon Burks is that X. Kyle Phillips, he's that slot. Need a 3rd to play off of them. They're set at tight end. Offensive line, though. They're going to need a left tackle because Taylor Lewan's on his way out. And Dennis Daly, Titans fans do not want Dennis Daly back. He's a free agent anyways. Left guard, have to figure out left guard because Aaron Brewer, he's a free agent. And they got to figure out right guard because Nate Davis is a free agent. So really, the Titans have a center and a right tackle, and that's it on the offensive line. So that is the argument against going back at it. But there are a lot of options on the offensive line in free agency, cheap options. It is a deep, there's a high end and a low end in this offensive line class. So I don't know where the Titans will go, how they will fix this, if they'll re-sign Taylor Lewan, if they'll re-sign Nate Davis, if they'll re-sign Aaron Brewer. Any of these guys could be back. All of them could be back. Taylor Lewan, less likely. I think he does retire, but the guards could return, or they could return Nate Davis and upgrade at left guard because Aaron Brewer was just kind of so undersized. Not his fault. Either way, need a receiver, a wide receiver 3, and need heavy help on this offensive line. And on the defense, they need to figure out nose tackle and they need to figure out their defensive lineman position. And what do I mean by that? The Titans, they really like to run with a defensive end / defensive tackle hybrid. We saw Sean Williams, or who was it? DeMarcus Edwards and Mario Edwards and DeMarcus Williams. Those are the two players that played that position for the Titans behind Danico Autry. They're both free agents, so they need that. And Tier Tart, the nose tackle, he's a free agent. So these bullies, this Tennessee Titans bully position on the defensive line, they're going to need some help. They're going to need some help alongside Jeff Simmons. The edge, they're going to be fine because Harold Landry coming back. If they do keep Danico Autry, that helps the interior and the edge position. And if they keep Bud Dupree, the edge position's fine. They got Rashad Weaver as well. A linebacker, they might need 2 linebackers. They might need both. But let's break it down for you here. Let's show you what we're actually dealing with in Tennessee. So we've got Ryan Tannehill, of course, returning at quarterback. And then we've got Derrick Henry. They also need a backup quarterback, unless you believe in Malik Willis. I still do, but I don't know if him as the backup, if the Titans will be comfortable with that, because Josh Dobbs, free agent. So need a replacement for Dontrell Hilliard. And then you're going to need a Z receiver once Robert Woods is a free agent. It's not going to be Racey McMath. Racey McMath, former LSU receiver, the one LSU receiver to not work out. He should be flashed, but no. Chris Conley, free agent. Not that it matters. Cody Hollister, free agent. Nick Westbrook, Chris Bohr, all free agents. It's going to be Treylon Burks as that X receiver on the outside, and it's going to be Kyle Phillips in the slot. A heavy 2 tight end system that will see a lot of Austin Hooper. I can't believe that Austin Hooper is still with the Titans, and they can't even save a lot of money from moving on from him. It's weird. So Austin Hooper, he's back. Chig Okonkwo, I expect him to step into more of a tight end 1 role this year with the Tennessee Titans, overcome Austin Hooper. But it's that offensive line that scares me. Ben Jones, he's a veteran, had some concussion issues, but did make the Pro Bowl, did play at the Pro Bowl. So I think he'll be back, but he continues to age. Left guard, right guard, both free agents. Backup center, free agent. Left tackle, both of them soon to be free agents when Taylor Lewan's cut. Dennis Daly, already a free agent. It's basically Ben Jones, the center, and Nick Petit Frere. And for those of you that don't know, Petit Frere, that means little brother in French. So Nick, little brother, at right tackle from Ohio State. Pleasant surprise. Great pick in the 3rd round for the Tennessee Titans. But they need some help. They need some help on the offensive line. They also got to hope that Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips take the next step, because I'm obviously optimistic. I'm assuming that it will go well, but it might not. And on defense, there are some question marks, especially on the interior with Tier Tart and Naquan Jones, both free agents, both of them set to walk. Mario Edwards, DeMarcus Williams played a lot of snaps for the Tennessee Titans, as Terrell Basham, not so much. He filled in towards the end of the season, but Kevin Strong played a fair amount of snaps for the Titans as well. So the stars are still there, but it's the meat and potatoes, the grit of Thierry Tart that they are going to miss, and the depth of all the guys around him that they will miss if they walk. David Long and Dylan Cole. Dylan Cole was a part-time starter for the Titans with Zach Cunningham being so injured. They're both free agents. Maybe Jack Gibbons, they were impressed by him. Maybe he comes back and steps into a starting role. Maybe they believe in Monty Rice, but I truly believe they're going to have to figure out at least one linebacker, and hopefully they sign David Long. If they sign David Long, then they could roll with Rice and Gibbons, but the secondary's good at least. Secondary, Roger McCreary, he was a revelation in his first season with the Titans. Very, very impressed by him. Very happy with his performance. He can play slot. He can play outside. That's why I've got them starred all next to each other. Elijah Molden could be the starting slot. Roger McCreary steps outside because Caleb Farley, he's had those back injuries and he's expected to be ready for training camp, but we can't guarantee it. And then look at the depth at safety. This is a Titans defense that loves to run with these 3 safety looks. They don't have the horses to run with those 3 safety looks. So what does it come down to? It comes down to this. The Tennessee Titans, they could rebuild. No one would blame them if they decided, you know what, we're going to start Malik Willis for the year. We're going to tank. If he can't figure it out, we're going to crater for Caleb. And that'll be it. We've got some young pieces on offense, and we'll continue to build around them, save some money. Couldn't blame him for that. But this is Mike Vrabel. This is a football guy. This is a stubborn organization. This is an organization that fired their general manager because being the first seed in the playoffs is not enough. And there were some blunders that he really did make as the general manager of the Titans. But this is a team that is not going down without a fight. For better or worse, the Titans will be going all in 2023.